We fucking wing it like we always do. Oh, wow, look at that. You can do it, Mitchell. I'm so proud of you.
You told me to click it, and I did.
Wow, you
I'm
can
not
use
sure
your
how else to
fingies.
start this one.
You can use your fingies. I'm so proud.
Yeah.
There's a sex joke in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah, there definitely is. Hey!
Hey, Macarena.
Hello, everyone,
Welcome back.
to Lorecast Eternals.
I'm Mitchell.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Jacob. And today we're going to be talking about the Siege of Excelsis. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big WHAAG. lots of
Very big.
big, girthy. Takes place in Gur. Lots of fun stuff. There's demons involved. But before that, let's go ahead and do some announcements. First off, I want to give a shout out to a new Patreon member. Leonidas Bane of Persia, I think was the name.
Make a double check.
Also, kudos in the name.
Noise.
Yep.
Is
That is correct name.
Sparta. So yeah, thanks for hopping on and welcome and whatnot. We look forward to you sticking around. And want to give a shout out to our Patreon in general. You guys are awesome.
You pay for a lot of our gas money because the amount of traveling that we just did today.
Good Lord.
And Philip, how far have you traveled today?
Well, in terms of mileage, I don't really keep track of that because, like, I'm a good Texan and I keep track of distance by hours.
Yes, good.
And
You passed
I've
the test.
traveled. I still have yet to travel a further hour and a half, but today alone, I have traveled 4 hours.
And I saved you an extra three and a half.
No.
He's calculating.
4, 5. I've traveled 5 hours already, and I still have yet another hour and a half to go.
Yeah, and I have traveled 3.
Yeah.
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 So thanks for the gas money.
Thanks for the gas money, yes.
Yeah.
We're also
Yeah.
going to be using it to probably get another mic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for convenience sake.
Yep, we always said we were going to be super transparent with what we're doing with the Patreon cash. So right now it's gas money and some new equipment.
Really, it will forever be gas money.
It really will.
Like, please. And then maybe in the future, airplane money?
No, in the future, Magic the Gathering money.
Okay, shut up. No.
No, yeah.
Not
no.
acceptable. Shut the fuck up, Bill. Oh.
Wait a minute. I do not consent to this. I don't play Magic.
That's okay. I'm using my third of it.
I mean, to be fair, you don't consent to giving everyone a Warlord Titan, but you have no choice in that one either.
One of these days, he's gonna just skin you alive, and I'm gonna stand in the corner with a box of popcorn or bag of popcorn.
I have not been bothered by that in such a long time. And how dare you bring that back up?
Core memory unlocked.
Mitchell,
I'm gonna have PTSD. I'm gonna wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to my phone
sweating and just
Just
like
phone blowing up.
just gonna be like Johnny Doe or Norky, like, listen here, motherfucker, where's my goddamn Warlord Titan? Stop looking at me like that. Do we have any announcements? Any big announcements? Oh, also, sorry, real quick. This episode was voted on by the Patreon members once again. So yeah, thank you guys for picking. This is actually a pretty fun topic to go over, and also give us a break from doing all the race breakdowns we've been doing.
It's also a very important event because
Yeah.
it is the event that really kind of kicks off 3.0.
Yeah, it was the final event of 2.0, going into 3.0.
Yeah. Also, do you think it's really weird how they say 1.0, 2.0, 3.0?
I mean, the reason they do that, it's so that if they ever have to do like a
A 3.5 or whatever the fuck, kind of like what 9th edition had to do.
yeah,
I guess.
I have it.
Gimme.
Give him his penis.
Give me my penis.
We could get it, you vape.
Honest to God, I need to stop using my small one.
Is there another one?
That was bad. But no, I keep burning out the coils on it.
Gotta stop playing with it so much.
We're gonna go ahead and move on from this because I got like really unfortunately personal really quick. Anyway.
No, I'm
Oh, I don't think. Okay, before we move on, we should probably explain what we mean by penis.
It's a vape. It's a joke. That
It's a personal electronic nicotine inhalation system.
Yeah, it was a joke they made a long time ago, and it's just kind of stuck. So, no weird shit's going on here. I promise.
Yeah,
Looks directly at the Hedonite.
Except for Jacob and Mitchell playing footsies.
That's
actually,
not
we
weird.
haven't done that. We have not started
That's
that
not
yet.
weird. That is saintly. Get it correct.
Yeah.
So feet pick when?
I want to get paid for it.
I believe they have a website for that.
Oh, there is no. Oh, yeah, no. No.
Only toes.
Only toes. No, but announcements. We have any announcements? Any big ones?
I am a human.
Do I have to give you the talking stick, Philip? Like,
Like, it took you a while to get that one out.
brains calculating.
No, no, there was. Oh, okay. So just real quick, I ended up reading a book recently, or listening to a book recently, because I use Audible a lot at work, called Legends and Lattes. Dude, that was like some primo high fantasy cottagecore. Like, damn, that was nice.
Very wholesome.
Very wholesome. It's literally about so it's like Pathfinder fantasy, D&D kind of fantasy.
Oh, nice.
And basically the entire point of the story is this orc woman is like, hey, I've been an adventurer for like most of my life. What?
Is this an announcement?
No, but it's something I read and like I thought it was a cool book, so like I'm gonna bring it up now before we get into the meat of the conversation.
That's cool. Do we have any announcements
No.
before we go on this like 10-minute tangent?
No.
Okay, cool.
No.
Continue.
Yeah. But no, so like this experienced orc adventurer was just like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. So she went on one last big quest and got a stone that's supposed to grant her luck. And then she just immediately retired from adventuring and opens a coffee shop.
That's so wholesome.
It's so wholesome.
I'm really
it's great.
sick and tired of people opening up a coffee shops. It's like, it's the thing to do. Open up a tea shop, damn it.
Well, that's the thing. And like in a fantasy setting, tea is the common thing. And so she opens up this coffee shop and everybody's like, the fuck is coffee? And then this tiny little old gnomish man, where the gnomes are the ones who like basically invented how to drink coffee, comes up and is like, oh my god, I never thought I'd drink coffee ever again. Thank you.
I just want my Jasmine Dragon.
Never.
Dude, oh my god, the quest for a half decent London fog.
Oh my god.
It's so hard.
It's so goddamn hard. You know,
Which is funny because you know what a London fog is? It's steamed milk, Earl Grey, and simple syrup. But apparently everybody just fucking forgets the simple syrup. It's like, it's literally one of 3 fucking ingredients. I'm not even asking you to infuse it with lavender like you're supposed to. But like, everybody's just like, milk, tea, done. And I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Where's my goddamn sweetness?
Where's my goddamn sweet?
also, I prefer an Oxford Haze.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's the
same thing. It's just with
English breakfast. But like,
Yeah.
they always forget the motherfucking...
There's a mind culture to ask. Like, I
simple
just
syrup.
like coffee.
Yeah, I thought it was vanilla syrup.
So, like, I think there's a couple different ways to make it, but, like, I think the super traditional way to make a London fog is with lavender.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Is with lavender-infused simple syrup. That's, like, the super traditional way to make it.
I think Cersei's about to have a stroke and kill us.
Why? Welcome to the tangent zone.
Oh, I was spacing the fuck out. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was in seriously land.
I thought that was more like
I was 100%
I can't believe these guys are complaining about tea.
I was not on this mortal plane for a second. I was just like, completely spaced out.
I guess we should start with the Siege of Excelsis now.
The Siege of Excelsis, where, like, literally everyone ran around and killing people.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's not entirely wrong, honestly. So
only one major alliance was not part of the siege.
Yeah, everyone was there but Death.
Yeah.
But which even that's not technically right because they did recruit some necromancers to help defend the city, and they were just like, yeah, we don't vibe with Nagash because we want to learn about raising big gurish beasts, but like. Yeah.
That's not really Death. I think the most that was mentioned is when the Knights Excelsior was kind of trying to expunge death cults or something.
So
out of the city.
Moving forward is just for people who don't know who Excelsis is. It's a really big free city.
Who
Gur.
Excelsis is?
Excelsis.
No.
What?
Who?
What? It's what?
What? Sorry, Jesus Christ.
Why?
Excelsis is.
Why it's an important city.
Who, what, where, why, and how. It is a very large free city in Gur.
It is the largest
Where's
in Gur.
that from?
What?
There's like a whole song that's like who, what, when, where, and what. Like it's a whole song, and I know it's from Spy Kids.
Oh man,
It was like an extra on like Spy Kids 3 DVD. I think.
Philip's fucking chipmunk brain is
Maybe
in
it was the
full
second one.
fucking overdrive.
How do you remember that?
I don't know.
Sleep deprivation.
Also,
That's how.
Can we talk about how the new Ant-Man was just Spy Kids remastered?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen
The last Marvel movie.
I haven't seen the new Avatar movie actually, and I'm like really upset with myself about that.
Okay.
pretty good.
Okay.
Well, no,
So-
it was not as good as the first, in my opinion, but it wasn't bad.
By the way, when y'all watch Ant-Man, it's just Spy Kids 3 reimagined.
Really?
I want you to go watch it. Exact same color palette.
But are there gigantic walking thingy hands?
No,
Was
but
that the third one?
I don't know, but that's my favorite part of the Spy
yeah,
Kids
that's
film.
remember how George
Thumbs.
Lopez was a gigantic head?
Yeah,
That's just MODOK.
fair.
Wait.
Wasn't fuck it. Regardless, moving on.
No, all I remember about the third one is that at the very end, the dad. Who he was played by a really famous.
Or am I thinking of Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
I think you're thinking Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I think I'm thinking. No,
You're thinking of Shark Boy and
I'm
Lava
thinking.
Girl.
Yeah.
No, Spy Kids 3. No, Spy Kids 3. That was the one where they like had to go into
A game?
into the game. Yeah.
Okay.
then,
Seriously,
like-
is now giving us the look of we're gonna kill. We're gonna continue. Okay.
But no. And then at the end, Antonio Banderas was like,
Shut up. We're moving on.
Hang on. Just real quick.
No.
You gotta let me,
Still-
otherwise I'm not gonna be able to get off of this. Real quick, it'll take 30 seconds. No, like
Yeah.
I remember at the very end, Antonio Banderas was like, "Oh yes, the perfect brain," and then they were like, "Hey, your kids need you," and he was like, "Ugh," and like just destroyed all the shit he'd been working on, and it was like, "But why though?" All right, you're done. Quit fucking counting on your fingers, motherfuckers.
That was 15.
15.
Okay, continuing. So what makes the city really important is the fact that it's one of the very few places that actually just had it's called the Spear of Malice, and it's kind of stuck in the harbor because Excelsis is a harbor city, port city. Really important when it comes to like the Black Arcs, or are they called Black Arcs?
That's a dark elf thing.
Yes.
Yeah, they're called Black Arcs still.
Yeah. So all these Black Arcs that come in and out of the city and whatnot, but you have the Spear of Malice, which
I think you mean a hunk of malice.
it says it's a column hanging
Chunk
out.
O.
Yeah, just a chunk of the old world in the harbor.
Yeah, from people who remember from our previous episodes, malice is just literally it's the core of the planet that was the old world, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's also is used to make Sigmarite.
Yeah, it's orbiting Azir. That's where it is right now.
Yeah.
And
But
they
now
also
you just have a big old chunk right there,
Yeah.
and they use in the city. They actually use the shard as currency in form of like glimmerings.
yeah.
So
And
it's
I'm pretty sure it has like weird magical properties as well, which is why they wanted it.
there is
Everyone wants it.
very much of important magical properties. It really enhances magical properties. In
Yeah,
fact,
but there's been a couple times where like, oh look, like chaos or death or someone's coming to take the shard, and sometimes they're just like, do we just want to blow up the city so they can't get it? So like, yeah, it's pretty important.
yeah,
They will go to great lengths to stop it,
and it's
to stop people from getting it.
such a major city. I think over 1 million people live in this city,
Like I said, is
which
big.
really is an important fact for a statistic later on.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Siege of Excelsis, like Phil had said, it was the end. It was basically the end of second edition, beginning of third, and a lot of things happened that enabled the Siege of Excelsis to be what it was. It was really, really big, really, really rough.
Let's start 10 years
So
before.
yeah, was it 10 years?
It was 10 years
10
before
years.
the siege started.
So the prologue to the Siege of Excelsis is basically there was this uprising by this dude whose name is I think Ort Vermeer. Is it Ort? Ordum.
Vermeyers. Yeah.
Ordum Vermeyer, and he was like not the full.
It was actually a little more than a decade ago, but yeah.
He was a leader of sorts for the city. I think it was called High Arbiter or something like that, and he was in a pretty big position of power in Excelsis, and he's actually a good guy to start off with. He had some dealings with the Order of Azir, witch hunters and whatnot, and he actually was one of the very few people who had like a high position of trust with the Order of Azir for a while. But he eventually fell to Tzeentch because he had a change of heart, and he was like, yeah, I don't think that anyone can stop Chaos from claiming ultimate victory over the mortal realms, so I'm just gonna play for the winning side, basically, more or less. And he decided to become a follower of Tzeentch. And he joined a cult of Tzeentch, the Cult of the Fated Path, and he eventually rose to, I think, the absolute leadership of that cult. And he spent like 10 years setting up his uprising, like gaining control of the honor guard of his castle, and getting power over the mages in the city, and all kinds of crazy shit. And after 10 years of infiltrating and pulling people over to the power of the dark gods and wheeling and dealing and whatnot, he finally started his uprising. And what's funny is what caused the uprising to not go well was
the Vengeance.
Well, no, not just them. They were there, yeah. But like what really started
the mega chads that they are.
Yes. No.
The
no,
Vengeance
no
are actually some of the coolest characters in this series.
Just to be clear, that's the Vengeance.
Vendences.
The Vendences.
The Vendentists?
They're the Vendentist, yes.
I keep wanting to say vengeance, which actually isn't too far off.
Yeah.
But no, it was this dude named Armin Callis or Callis. He was part of the Free Guild, he was a corporal in the Free Guild. Are you touching my penis again? Vape, just to clarify, vape. Basically, he was just like the soldier of the city who had stumbled upon this like illicit meeting by complete and total accident. And he got brought before Vermeyer with some other dudes. I'm not going to go into super detail because it's not like part of.
You're going into super detail. I think the main point
being is he got brought before Vermeyer, and it caused shenanigans to happen that threw like his plans off just enough for like everything to kind of snowball into going wrong, and it led to Vermeyer being exiled from the city after getting his arm cut off, and then Tzeentch was like, flesh change because you failed me, and like eat a dick. And then there's a book about him, I think, trying to like cure his flesh change and whatnot.
Also, like it's the Vendent, so you have the two main characters.
We actually talked about them in our last episode on Witch Hunters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
They are very important, and I will continue after the fact of this main siege because there is a really important thing right after the main siege that really happens. That's the entirety of like the Book of Hallowed Grounds.
Yeah.
Which the Vendents play a really big point, but this is like the first mentions of the Vendents, so Galen and Delaria.
Yes.
They also were critical to the point of like the downfall of the Tzeentch cult. That and the Knights Excelsior. But this whole entire like
just to give you an idea of how important these two characters are, if you go to Google and you type in Age of Sigmar Witch Hunters, I'd be willing to bet within the first 5 images you see, at least one of those is going to be of those two, and they're going to be the most common image that reoccurs.
But this whole entire like Tzeentch uprising, it's what kind of like led to a major kind of point to the overall arching thing of the Siege of Excelsis was a really big hatred towards magic.
And well, at first it was magic, and then it turned into elves.
Because elves equal magic.
Yes. Yeah, basically a cult formed. I think it was called like the Null Brotherhood. Yeah,
Nullstone Brotherhood.
The Nullstone Brotherhood, who were like, oh yeah, Tzeentch, magic equal bad, and then it kind of turned into like elves equal magic equal bad.
So initially they were actually they were actually a force for good. They weren't quite members of the Order of Azir, but they worked closely with the Order of Azir.
They answered directly to them, yeah.
Yeah, and the Order of Azir was like, okay, yeah, like we're kind of cool with what you're doing. Hunting, because initially they specifically hunted people who used magic that had fallen to chaos.
Also
specifically.
Skaven.
Oh yeah,
and they also spelunked in on.
Well, initially they started out as hunting down chaos corrupted magicians, But then they started finding Skaven, and they were like, oh, no, this needs to stop. So they would actually catch Skaven. They'd go hunting for them, and then they would nail the bodies of the Skaven to the doors of their temple, which then were taken down in the middle of the night, and, like, nobody knew where they kept disappearing to. But they kept finding more, so, like,
Because
yeah.
Skaven.
Yeah. No, it's 120%. Like, the Skaven would go and steal their bodies and, like, eat them.
Yeah. And
Something swiggity would be happening.
the leader of actually of this Nullstone Brotherhood, his name was
Mulligan?
Mulligan? Yeah,
Mulligan.
Mulligan.
I think it's Mulligan.
M-U.
It's like
L-G-E-N. Mulligan.
M-Dog.
Yeah, Malgan. Yeah, anyway, Malgan.
Mulligan.
But yeah,
I'm going to say Mulligan because it looks like it's spelled like Darth Maul.
Is it GIF or GIF?
I hate you.
It is it's GIF. But that...
Malgan.
No, Mulligan. That's a soft G. I will fight you on this one.
This is gonna take a while.
I'm just gonna disagree with them, and
These
we're gonna move
hands
on.
are rated E for everyone. But yeah, so just to kind of summarize, so I don't have to be on this too long, is the cult started off as a force for good, hunting down chaos corrupted sorcerers and Skaven and things like that, and then they slowly started getting.
I should not have said GIF or GIF because now I'm gonna get text messages at 5 o'clock in the morning from the Discord server.
This man was on a thought process.
I'm sorry.
Can you continue?
I'm thinking about it. I might just leave. Anywho, the cult slowly started getting more and more sadistic and kind of twisted, and they started going after magic practitioners in general, and then they started going after people who they thought equaled magic, namely elves. And this,
Excuse me? Elf.
elves,
Elf.
elves,
Elf.
Elf.
I'm gonna repeat what you said. I disagree with you. I'm gonna keep moving on.
My name is Uhtred.
Thipplethip.
I lost my fucking train of thought.
So they started,
Elves, yes.
yeah.
They also were confiscating mirrors because I thought mirrors were basically like
The sin of
in
the sin
more
of
or
vanity.
less doorway to chaos bullshit, more
Yeah.
or less shenanigans. So they started going around kidnapping, abducting elves into God knows where, and also started stealing everyone's fucking mirrors.
Yeah.
And
And
this
initially, again, they were very widely supported by the populace at large because they had started out as a force for good. They really had been a beneficial force in
Even
the city.
the fact that they said that they had the power and or the blessing of the head person of the Knight Successor.
oh yeah, the White Reaper.
There was
The
a
White Reaper.
Lord
no,
Veritant.
he said he did. He most certainly did not, but he said he did.
He said he did.
and he was so charismatic
Yeah.
that no one questioned him.
Yeah, there was a Lord Veritant stationed inside of the city of the Knights Excelsior, and Lord Veritants are basically priests of Sigmar. Like they're like the actual priests that serve in the storm hosts.
And so, yeah, eventually, like, the conclave of the city kind of got together. They're like, hey, these guys need to, like, fucking stop. And as far as, like, the people are concerned, they did get stopped. And the cult was just like, cool, we're just going to go after people who, like, the authorities of the city say are bad. It's fine now. They 100% kept kidnapping elves and shit. And
It's
stealing
just
mirrors.
in secret.
And as you know, super, like, extreme sadism and hedonism and things like that always lead to Slanesh.
All roads lead to Slanesh.
Haha. So, like, more or less, this cult basically eventually turned into a doorway to Slanesh
Yeah.
because little did they know that Dexessa and Sarnessa, I think of the name, which are the Slanesh, Slanesha?
The twins.
The twin.
The twin. The
Those,
voice.
those are the twins. Those are the ones that are cleaved off a piece of Slanesh and it split
Yeah.
into two souls when Marathi was doing her bullshit.
Yeah.
So, like, they were very
It's actually one soul split into two, but
that's what I meant to say.
Anyway.
They were freshly born, and one of the first things they did was like, we're gonna go and fuck over Excelsior because Excelsis. Breaking mirrors, which is what the cult did. They broke the mirrors because they're like, mirrors are bad. That's like their sigil, kind of.
Yeah, to be clear, they weren't like shattering the mirrors.
Just cracking
They
them.
would just crack them and then leave them in the frame. And part of the ritual that they did when they were killing elves is they would get all of these mirrors, put them in a ring around the elf, and then slit the elf's throat. Elf. They would slit the elf's throat and force the elf to watch themselves bleed to death.
And it was basically like a look like you can't stop your sins.
And of course,
you and die.
if you know anything about Slaanesh, you know that Slaanesh fucking loves depravity and elf souls.
So basically, every time they did these sacrifices in this way, it just fed Dexessa and what do you pronounce her name? Sinessa or Sinessa?
I say Sinessa.
Cool, Sinessa.
Give me 2 seconds.
They
I'll
were
look it
just
up and give you
basically
it.
feeding them power, essentially, and then eventually, after they pulled some bullshit with the Skaven during the siege, or like right before the siege, they managed to fully manifest themselves into the city.
One important thing to note is that Dexessa and Sinessa orchestrated this entire thing because, again, the Brotherhood started off as really good, and then they started hunting magic users and elves, and so at that point, Dexessa and Sinessa were like, "Ooh, you're hunting elves? Yeah. We want some of that," and so they started corrupting the Brotherhood. And the thing about Dexessa and Sinessa is they have a way of corruption that makes you unaware that you are being influenced at all.
It's very, very sneaky.
Yeah, it's a very subtle form of compulsion. And as they started warping and twisting the purposes of the Brotherhood became more and more depraved until ultimately they ended up becoming a Slaaneshi cult.
A full-blown Slaaneshi cult. Yeah.
And so, in order to help move this along, the twins actually hired out members of the Eshin Triad.
It was Eshin and Scryer.
Well, they hired the Eshin specifically.
No, they hired them both. They told Eshin had a plan that the Scryer didn't even know about.
Yeah,
but they were together initially.
Yeah, but the point is, the Skaven were doing Skaven bullshit because Skaven love doing Skaven bullshit, and they popped up in the middle of Excelsior. The docks. Not Excelsior.
Excelsis.
The docks. They popped up the docks.
They managed to bore a gnaw hole into the middle of Excelsis and just started going batshit crazy and just started murdering everyone, storm vermin everywhere, Eshin gutter runners running all around the rooftop.
And shit.
Oh yeah.
Shall we stop here? And because this is skipping a whole lot.
Yeah, no. So we're not quite there yet, but that is part of the Slaaneshi thing, and all of this happens technically before the siege even begins.
Yeah.
So
this is all set up.
So rewinding a little bit is the cult. This is like when the cult started being like a problem. The city itself was still trying to heal. It was still trying to get money, rebuild the city.
You have elves missing.
They had like elvish privateers that would stay at their docks and like defend their dockside, who just fucked off because like elves were being murdered left and right by the crazy ass fucking humans.
Yeah.
And
the elves were just like peace fucked.
They which left their docks basically undefended because they just straight fucked off, which I can't blame them. But like it really slowed down Excelsis' ability to repair the damage caused by Vermeer's rebellion and get to a point where it was comfortable in its ability to defend itself. And it was a really big fucking problem.
Yeah. Not only that, is the city constantly was going through states of turmoil to the point they became numb to it. Because one of the big things about Excelsis is that they had the glimmer rings, and the glimmer rings are actually like objects of prophecy.
Oh yeah, it's a good thing you said that. Something I forgot to mention is if you inhale glimmerings, it can give you prophetic visions. And the dude who like fucked up Vermeer's plans, why he knew what he knew is when he found the cult meeting by accident in the fight with the cultists, he accidentally inhaled some of the glimmerings, and he got a very brief vision of the cult's plan, and that was why he went to Vermeer, and he got brought to Vermeer, and Vermeer was like, "Cool, what are these plans? What's gonna happen?" He was like, "Well, you see," little did he know that he was talking to Big Daddy Cult Leader himself.
Yeah. But going through the glimmerings, people were actually having visions of tragic events. And so you had your typical doomsayer on the side of New York going like, "The end is nigh!" Just like every day. So people are like...
I have a question though. Did any of them dress up in a black and white mask and a brown trench coat? Please tell me you get that reference. It's only my favorite superhero of all time. Bro.
Yeah, I'm going to fail you here.
Rorschach.
Watchmen. Never watched Watchmen.
Bro.
Really? Okay, now the podcast does stop. What? That's such a good movie. It's one of the few...
I've never actually seen the movie, but the
What?
comic... Well, no, because like I've read the comic and like I fucking loved the comic.
So have I, but the movie's actually really good.
I've just never seen it.
I was just watching it. It's one of the few like superhero movies that does like gritty superheroes and are really good.
Well, yeah, that was the whole point of Watchmen.
Yeah, but the movie
Watchmen-
does it true. Like,
Hey,
it's really
we don't
movies
have
that
to
fuck it
go
up.
over my failures in life. We can continue with
No.
No,
we're
so
talking
Mitchell
about
not
this
watching Watchmen means that he is a fucking failure.
But yeah, no. Watchmen was really interesting because it was the first time you actually saw the deconstruction of the superhero psyche. But anyway,
And how like when you kind of get down to the bottom of it, the majority of heroes are like actually kind of low-key psychopaths.
Yeah.
in their own special ways.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs.
But no, Rorschach was always my favorite because Rorschach, his like normal person persona, was 120% just a guy who walked along the side of the
I'm just a
street
dude.
holding a sign that said the end is nigh. And like that was his whole thing. And he was in like almost every chapter, but nobody knew it was him because literally he like never spoke, never interacted with anyone. But then like he put on the Rorschach mask and all of a sudden he was like, oh yeah,
Super fucked up
I'm
Batman.
gonna
Go!
murder people. Let's do this. Oh no, he wasn't even
Yeah.
Batman because literally he didn't have any like special ability. He was
No,
just fueled by pure rage.
I just mean regular motherfucker who just beats everyone to this particular version to death.
yeah.
Yeah, so all the signs of future bad things happening were there. Like the glimmerings don't lie.
Yeah.
The people of Excelsis, cool. Tuesday, gotta
Yeah,
go to work.
Like, well, when is it happening? Whoopity doo.
Over here, neat.
Yeah.
It's like whenever people would tell me like, hey, there's a forest fire going on, and it's like, cool, I still got to go to work.
It's actually really funny when you think about it with the Nolan Brotherhood back before they turned evil, like nailing Scave into their doors. They did that because they're like, look, people, the man-sized rats exist, because that carries on even from old world where like, man-sized rats? What? That's not a thing. And it's like, God damn it!
Yeah, people are a little
Nonsense.
more willing to believe it now, but yeah, it's still one of those things where it's like, wait, you mean that's not
Excuse
like
me?
some random weird nightmare story? It's like, no, they actually exist.
And like, if I lived in Excelsis and I just saw a mountain crumble my walls, I would go. I'm talking about Kragnos. I'm just calling him a mountain.
Oh yeah,
Man-sized-
Kragnos was there.
Man-sized rats seem more plausible than that.
Looking at Kragnos 1v2 Croak and Marathi in her god form, somehow the Skaven's got a lot more believable for me.
Yeah, really.
Well,
I still say that when you're seeing a battle of like magical gods fighting each other, it's like, yeah, but rats with miniguns. The miniguns, honestly, for me would still be like, are you sure? Are like man-sized rats, cool, but a minigun?
Like,
I don't even know what that is.
Are you sure about that one,
Oh,
Chief?
man.
Or you been smoking too much of that dank glimmering?
They have bows that don't require strings. Well, who am I kidding? There's guns and
look, I'm gonna be honest.
The-
Your miniguns are nice, but have you ever heard of
Hellstorm.
war bears? I'm in the middle of a Kislev campaign right now, and like I am fucking up some rats with war bears.
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 I love bears.
But sorry, going forward is the signs were there to a certain extent, but like even if people did believe it, they were so busy. It's like, cool, the end's coming. It doesn't matter. Like we're trying to like repair our city because like if we can't get our shit fixed, it literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So everyone was so focused on that like they couldn't do much against it because they were kind of already doing everything that they could.
By the way, all the Mulgans still stuff doing this.
Yeah, and this is all happening before, like, because Mulgan and all that Slanesh shit, like, happening. The full culmination of the Slaneshi bullshit doesn't actually happen until, like, right when the siege starts.
Yeah.
So, like, all this is happening while Mulgan's going around murdering elves and shit, and the cult's doing batshit crazy things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the rebellion, trying to repair the city, cult bullshit. And then they start noticing...
Well, also the Vendents walk into the Seraphon temple.
So, the daughter did.
Yes.
Because the father couldn't.
Yeah, because the daughter is way cooler.
Oh, yeah, and that just goes to show how big and important the city Excelsis is. There is actually, like, a Seraphon temple in the city. It's in the, what district? I think it named the district. It was the, oh, fuck, it started with an A. I can't quite remember, but yeah, there was a Seraphon temple, like, city, inside Excelsis, and
It's
it was
called the Vanishing Armada. No, it's not. Never mind. I'm wrong on that one.
It was 100% like a TARDIS because the daughter Vendent walked in that ship and she's like, it's bigger on the inside.
That's a fact. Because she got out, she's like,
Excuse you, I believe you meant to say it's smaller on the outside.
There you go. But she walked in, and she actually talked to a skink. And the skink was basically like, yes, I have seen the future. And the future says that I can't see shit right now, so get fucked. Yep. Basically, what happened was there was magics that was blocking the skink's ability to perceive the future.
They shook their magic 8-ball and it said, try again later.
Yeah, results inconclusive, try again later. And what they said was, like, listen, like, we're always down to protect the city because of, like, the Staff of Malice and all that shit. But, like, all of our Saurus are in the middle
Spear of Malice.
Spear of Malice. All of our Saurus are off in the middle, like, fucking over chaos. Often Gur, and like I can't call our forces back from that unless I know what the fuck is going to happen, and right now I can't see what the fuck's going to happen, so the safest route for me is just to have our Saurus stay what they're doing, murdering chaos.
Is it called the Serpentanus?
I think it is.
Okay, we're going to go with Serpentanus on this one.
I think that's what the city was called, or the temple was called. I don't think that was what the district was called.
Outside the Serpentanus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was why the Seraphon like couldn't help to start off with, but eventually Croak just come down, and Croak's like, we need to help the people.
Also, Vendence are complete alcoholics, because right after she got out of the temple, the first thing she did was go to a tavern and chug 3 glasses of firewater. Because she was like,
she came out and she was like, what the
fuck
was that?
I'm not dealing with this sober.
I mean, to be fair, if I walked
woman after my own heart.
If I walked into a magic not existing, kind of existing, not really existing, interdimensional lizard spaceship, I'd be a little fucked up after that one too.
Yeah.
So at the time, the Seraphon were like, no, we can't be a part of this. So all of that happens, and then that time goes forward, and they're starting to realize that like there's orcs outside, gathering outside the city.
And what's all that about?
Little did they know that Gadrak, remember him from our episode, the Fist of Gork, like literally like the orc born from Gorkamorka's knucklebone, Big Daddy Orc himself.
Well, let's go through something first. It's his WHAAG.
It's his WHAAG. He wasn't really the mastermind behind the attack. 'Cause he was like, I'm going to Excelsis to WHAAG it up, and that was all he was gonna do.
Oh no! No! He wasn't there because he's like, I'm gonna WHAAG it up. Kragnos beat the crap out of Godrak, and then took over.
No. They kind of fucked each other up, but that was after they were already at the city. They were almost to the city.
Because Kragnos. So Kragnos does have a reason why he goes to Excelsis, and this is not explained in all this chapter. This is explained in Dominion and Kragnos the book. He's going after it because he pretty much goes, how dare they build a city with walls? That's really the reasoning.
How dare they? How dare they protect themselves?
The end of empires, like pretty much just stating all that. And he goes like, how dare they build a city with walls? This is my land. Nah, get out. So
get off my lawn.
Since he has, all like the amber bone in him because of what the Cruel Boys did in the past.
We need to have an episode over Kragnos.
Yeah, we do. We really kind of do.
I concur.
Well, how about this? Before you finish explaining Kragnos, let me say for a second how Kragnos woke up, because this happened basically right after Kragnos woke up as well. I think we explained it kind of in one of our previous episodes where Kragnos got trapped in a mountain by Croak because like he was doing head shit.
I really like to believe that people were just playing music way too loud.
No, that's kind of what it was. Yeah. So basically, back in the world that was in Athelorn was like the realm of the Wood Elves. That's where the majority of the Wood Elves stayed and protected. There was this tree called the Oak of Ages, and it was like the Big Daddy tree, basically. Best explanation.
It's the tree of life, really.
Essentially.
Are we talking about the world tree from Avatar?
So that tree is actually in the realm of Ghyron in the Mortal Realms.
I'm just gonna say Ghyron.
I forget if it was like a seedling or if like no. Oh, that's what it was. I think the tree was just floating in space, and then it was like, oh look, the realm of life. I remember that, and it just like landed in Ghyron. Ghyron. I think. That's how that happened. I might be wrong. Point being is the Oak of Ages.
It's a really strong paraphrase. Let's continue.
It's there. So Alariel's like, I want my tree to be alive again. So she enacts this ritual where she's like singing to the tree.
It's called the Rites of Life.
The Rites of Life. And she revives the Oak of Ages. Then they call it the Oak of Ages past now. And it writes itself up. It gets its color back. It digs in its roots, and it resurrects. And it starts dropping like acorns and shit on the ground that grow into Sylvaneth that all start playing music on these little wooden flutes they have, or whatever the fuck they're called. and they are also playing the Rights of Life, and they just fuck off to like all the other realms to like wake up the land to start fighting off chaos. Think the Royal from Zendikar for all my Magic players. It's essentially what they're trying to do, and them doing that is what woke up Kragnos.
Because Kragnos was kind of stuck in a tusk of an old god beast, floating there, taking the world's longest nap.
While also in a mountain.
Yes, and he went.
Would you say that he was taking a nap in a rock, maybe for 10,000 years?
Oh,
I fucking hate you so much sometimes, Philip.
I was really, you went about that wrong. I was like, you should have said, was he taking a cat nap?
The lion.
So wakes up. It's literally changes the atmosphere of Gur. Like his awakening truly does change because it takes him a while to get outside of the mountain, and what is described is him trying to get out of the mountain is the heartbeat of Gur, because it's just a thun 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 thun, just constantly over and over again.
It's just him playing footsies with the mountain.
Yeah. And it really stirs up the entire realm, and you see this mass migration of all the orcs and really all the greenskins going towards Kragnos.
They're ready to throw hands.
Well, no, because they're
not with Kragnos, but his thumping is getting them ready to throw hands.
They're like, oh, that's the big boss.
That's the big boss.
So he gets out, kind of just runs around. All the orcs are following him as they always have in the past, and he's like, I'm just gonna go towards Excelsis because how dare they
have walls?
Yeah.
Well, then didn't he go to his old home like area first and realize that like none of his people are there anymore?
It's been a while since I listened to those books, but most likely, yes.
Basically, he went to where his homeland was, and there's just like a gigantic hole, or like it was like a gigantic crevasse, basically, where like the two of the continents of Gur were meeting, and he was like, "Huh, home's dead. That's interesting." Anyway, fuck that city.
Yeah, pretty much. So he's going to the city. There's a reason why all these orcs are here. You got Gabos, you got orcs, you got Gargants, you got maybe ogres. Trogos, well, that's part of the Gabos.
No, the ogres came along with Gadrak's WHAAG because that one shaman, I forget his name, Snagtooth or something like that. Snagraka?
Yeah. At some point, Kragnos did beat Gadrak and took over his WHAAG, or they just started to follow him.
No. He didn't beat Godric. What happened is they were fighting. Like, he was going to beat Godric realistically because, like, it's Kragnos. But they were fighting, and that other orc, that shaman, like, did, like, a spell thing and, like made, like, rocks fall between them. And then he was, like, the city. And then Godric was like, oh, yeah, I'm here to fuck that thing up. And then him and the orcs were like, okay, yeah, we'll just go fuck that up. It wasn't like a definitive, like, Godric couldn't fight anymore. Like, they were still ready to throw hands with each other, but they were stopped.
I'm talking about this before the city, way before it, because this is more of a, I could be completely wrong, but, you know, continuing. He got a big WHAAG behind him. That's really about it.
Yeah, that's the important
And now they're on the horizon.
And, yeah, so there's a bunch of fucking orcs
You look
out.
like a trucker.
Who, me?
Yes.
A trucker hat.
Well, yeah, like, I have a commercial license.
No, it's your entire vibe. I just looked at you and I was like, okay, where's your 18-wheeler?
Yeah, I've got
Sorry,
I've got like the beard that's like weirdly sticking out in places, and I've got the weird trucker hat.
I think Mitchell, you said he saw a Peterbilt.
Yes.
Peterbilt.
And I was like, damn, that's a pretty truck.
That's a pretty truck.
Okay, dude, but no, like the old boxy Peterbilts. Oh my god,
That's what I saw.
dude, those things are great.
Yeah.
Why do I do things?
Yeah.
No, like Peterbilts are fantastic. The older ones, anyway.
Continuing.
Where
do we go through from here?
So that's when the Skavens are happening, because then like the orcs are starting to gather, and it's clear like shit's about to go down, and then the Skavens show up and blow up the harbor.
Yeah, that happens, and then they're like described as a brown flood going through the streets.
Yeah. So the really cool thing,
nasty.
To give you all like a timeline of when this happens. So the daughter, the Vendenced daughter, comes out from the Seraphon, and gets shit faced, and then goes back to her dad, and they're like, "Oh man, we should go talk to the Lord Veritant in charge of the Storm Host here."
Who is the White Reaper?
the White Reaper is his nickname.
I forget his name.
So,
his last name was like starts with an S, like Sanquist or something like that.
So they go to the Lord Veritant, and they're talking to the Lord Veritant about the Null Brotherhood and the Nullstone Brotherhood, and they go to him and they're like, hey, like, is this dude really acting in your name? And the Lord Veritan is like, who the fuck is this guy?
The fuck he is.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, the Lord Veritan's like, bro, I don't even know who the fuck that is.
I believe exact words are like, I'm going to find him and punish him for his lies.
Yeah, so that happens, and literally they're in the middle of this conversation, and the Skaven are just like, surprise, bitch, gnawhole in the middle of your city. And they're like, oh, shit.
Because I think it was 3 distinct explosions that happened through the,
there
harbor.
was
It
a
was
couple
3
different
gnawholes,
gnawholes.
I think.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it was 3.
They just came out in more or less the same location. But these 3 gnawholes pop up, and the Lord Veritan is like, oh, no, this not fucking acceptable. And what proceeds to happen is the storm host proceeds to shit all over the Skaven. Like, they are horribly outnumbered, horribly outgunned, and the Lord Veritans are like, allow us to introduce you to Draconiths.
Yeah,
Somebody
so
order dragons.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. Well, so when this game put, they're actually fucking the Stormcast up a little bit to start off with because they came out and they were like Storm Fiends, artillery, Gatling guns, snipers, gutter runners. Yeah, have fun, bitch. And there was just fucking they were casting gun everywhere, and it was kind of a fucking problem.
Yeah,
and
because
then,
at first the only response was like a dozen Stormcast.
and then,
that was it.
And there were also like some soldiers that were like drinking off duty that got fucking murdered too.
Yeah.
And,
well,
like,
to be fair, the humans didn't really put up much of a fight. Like, when you're facing Gatling gun, like, there's only so much in regular
they
human
fucked
can
up
do.
a couple Storm Fiends because, like, when the Storm
yeah.
Fiends popped out of the hole, they were, like, right next to a bar or a tavern, and all these off-duty soldiers came out, and they were, like, climbing on top of the storm, like, ripping the brain rats off the Storm Fiends and whatnot, and then, like, some other horrible rat mutants came out and fucking murdered them.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, the Storm Fiends were like, oh, look,
We
humans,
give them-
stop ripping my brains out.
Yeah.
We give them A for effort, okay?
A for effort,
That's
exactly.
kind of the entire, like, that's the vibe of humanity. I'm gonna be honest.
It's
you
the
get an
entire
A for
realm of
effort.
Gur is A for effort.
Until the free cities get an update, they get an A for effort, and that's about it.
Yep.
But so like the Stormcast were like trying to dive in on like the artillery pieces and and then the rattling guns and whatnot, and they almost one of them almost got there, but then the fucking the Scryer leader rat like blew him up with a doom rocket.
Yeah.
But while they're doing this, what happened was the chamber extremis.
So the Lord Veritan basically is like, oh, this is unfucking acceptable, and he's in charge of a deployment of the Chamber Extremis. And the big thing about the Chamber Extremis is the Chamber Extremis, those are basically the anti-magic portion of a Stormhost. So a Stormhost is split into several chambers. Chamber Extremis specializes in dealing with magic fuckery. So they don't necessarily have like Lord Arcanums and things like that. They don't have magic casters themselves. What they do have are like Sacrosancts, and they're not called Exorcists. They're called something else. But basically, units that specialize in hunting down others who do have magic. Excuse me, sorry about that.
Excelsis.
Thank you. So initially he deploys his paladins. And paladins are like the super heavy troops of a Stormhost.
Oh, no,
those are the guys who wade into the thickest parts of battle.
That I just stated the name of the Stormhost. Excuse me.
Yeah, the Knights Excelsis.
Yes.
But no, so initially he deploys his paladins. And the paladins, those are like your heavy shock troop infantry of just we wade into the heaviest battle and just start murdering.
Which, fun fact, the Knights Excelsis actually...
That's what they specialize in.
Because
if you actually run them as an army on tabletop, you get paladin units as battle line.
And God, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, like, honest to God, my love of heavy infantry almost made me switch from Hammers of Sigmar to Knights Excelsis. But, like, I just love my golden boys.
They're also
also
assholes.
Yeah, kind of. They're pretty
Not
pretentious.
paladins, but the
Knights Excelsis.
The Knights Excelsis. They're like, we're here to kill chaos, not save humans. But isn't that the same? No, not really.
They're all about the end.
The ends justify the means.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I will kill 1 billion humans if I can exterminate 30 million chaos. If killing 30 million chaos gives me more of like a step towards my goal of killing of chaos in totality.
Yeah.
Like, I will sacrifice whatever I have to.
I don't think they're that extreme because they're known to not be very active, but they are very active.
Yeah.
They're just not seeing a whole lot with inside of the city because in the period of time before all this is happening, they were investigating and trying to get rid of Neferotan covens.
Yeah. So one thing I'll say about the
there's
Knights...
your death in this.
Yeah, so the thing about the Knights Excelsis is that, like, they're very much... We don't go out of our way for collateral... We don't go out of our way to cause collateral damage, but, like, if a few humans die, like... shit happens and like we're sorry, but
Oh, no.
we got to do our job.
They're the Iron Hands of all the
They really are.
Yeah.
So they deploy their paladins, and the paladins just start mopping the floor with the regular Skaven, and even some of the storm vermin or storm fiends and things like that. And they just start mopping the floor with them, and the Skaven are like, "Oh shit, bring in the heavy artillery!" And so they bring in the heavy artillery, and again the paladins start dying, and then they deploy their heavy cavalry, the Dracoths.
yes.
And the Dracoths are just like, hey, by the way, we're gonna charge down Main Street and break your lines through sheer force of impact alone.
Because those
And
things
the
are
Skavens-
fast.
Yeah, and the Skaven are like, oh fuck. And yeah, these Dracoth units just come carving down Main Street.
And
led by
they're dealing
fulminators.
with this for a I just also realized this episode, I feel like it's completely just like back and forth, but that's how the entire siege is explained.
Yeah. It's
The siege is very chaotic because it was fucking massive. The Orc WHAAG was like 1 million strong.
Yeah.
yeah, it was
it
one of
was-
the larger WHAAGs.
It was the largest WHAAG in existence existed at that time.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm pretty sure they said it was like the largest WHAAG ever.
In
I
the,
think it was part of that largest, the whole largest WHAAG thing.
No, in the Age of Myth, remember that Gorka Morka actually had like a WHAAG that went through the realms.
Yeah.
So this is the largest WHAAG
Of
of,
the age of
this
Sigmar.
age.
This
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like anything that happens in the Age of Myth doesn't count because A, that was so long ago, it's kind of in legend, and B, the majority of people who were alive back then are dead now, either because age or Age of Chaos.
Yeah.
Facts.
So anyway,
If you're
Like-
alive from then, you're a named character.
You're an important named character, also probably a god. But what's
Probably.
funny is why the Skaven got fucked by the Draculus so much and whatnot is because the leader of the Skaven from Clan Scryer that were there, they didn't think that the humans would be okay with causing enough collateral to unleash
Stormcast would be okay.
with casting dragon, and then the Stormcast were like, hey, we're casting dragons. Skaven was like, I'm sorry, what? And then they all fucking died.
yeah, because whenever these fulminators make this charge down through the streets, they like take out buildings while they're running, and they're just like, shit happens. And the Skaven are like, wait a minute, we're the ones supposed to be causing collateral damage. And so
Hey, but it works.
And so they start deploying all of their heavy artillery against the fulminators. And the fulminators, part of their thing is that they're paladins on the backs of dragons that run along the ground. And so they can just take hits and keep rolling. And so they just come smashing into their front lines. And they do manage to actually start... The Skaven actually do manage to kind of break the fulminator charge. And they're like, haha, we're starting to break... And then is immediately followed up by just a mass assembly of sacrosancts. The standard infantry that are of the extremist chamber.
Yeah.
And there's just dozens of them. And they
Shit
just
got-
come tearing through the Skaven lines. And then they start deploying their...
Shit got whack.
And then they just start and then they deploy some of their anti-magic guys who are just like, oh yeah, you see your gnaw holes? They don't exist anymore. And the rats are just like, wait a minute, that's illegal. And yeah, they get fucking annihilated.
It's actually something that I want to state is the gutter runners that were going to go do demon shit, while they were on their way to that, they were like throwing their little ninja stars that had the fucking warp stone on them and whatnot.
Yeah.
And as the Knights Excelsis were coming down, they were also killing humans that have been injured, because if you are injured with warpstone, you'll basically be chaos corrupted like within hours.
Yep.
So they're also murdering humans as well, because like they kind of had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not really murder though. That's more just like, that's kind of mercy at that point.
Yeah, I know
Because
that's being put down for everyone's good, including your own.
Yeah, because that's literally several hours of the most agonizing pain you could possibly imagine, followed by your fall to chaos.
Yeah. So all this happens.
Oh, and then also, because the gunner runners are like running across the rooftops and whatnot, like murdering innocents, they also deploy the flying guys with javelins who are just like, oh look, target practice, yeet.
This happens actually, I think, a couple of weeks before, or maybe a few weeks. It happens a little bit before the actual entire like WHAAG comes.
Yeah. But they
because
are still
the
very
Knights
much
Excelsis,
recovering from this.
the Knights Excelsis is still going around trying to just clear. They're burning buildings and
Also the Skaven set the entire harbor district on fire as well, which it takes them a while to get that fire contained too.
Yeah.
And it's one of the few times it shows like the resilience of humanity with inside of this, because it shows like the cooperation, but the city is also going bankrupt because they had to increase
triple the gate toll and things like that.
Yeah, and they're just every single bit of money that they're getting, the city is getting, it's just automatically being spent.
Yeah.
Because they're having to rebuild walls, I believe. They're hiring Durdans to
Enchant the walls with their magic, runes and shit like that.
Just
and
fortify.
They're getting mercenaries in to help defend against the oncoming war.
They got
all kinds of shit.
Yeah, because they know the WHAAG is coming.
Yeah.
They're not blind to it.
Another important thing that happens with the Skaven is the White Reaper, the Lord Veritan of the city.
Yep.
He actually gets injured by some gutter runners with the ninja stars.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, after he was murdering lots of things, he took his mask off to like clean his eye sockets because in the mask was covered
his mask
in blood.
was filled with gore.
And right as he took his mask off, some gutter runners were like, "Hiya, bitch!" and like threw some ninja stars at him, and it got him down. And whenever he went down, he had I never quite, I forget if it was like his mount or his pet or whatever it was, but it was an eagle of some sort.
Oh yeah, it's a star eagle. Those are the little ones.
Yeah,
That are companions.
yeah. So he set that off to go call in help from the another storm host. It was the
Astral Templars.
Astral Templars, yeah.
Yep.
And that was when Lord Croak got involved, because basically he was like, Astral Templars, go! And like sent his eagle off.
Which is weird. What happened to because it stated something about only the faithful. Hollow Knights. Because Garda Steelheart was mentioned from Croak about being part of being integral to the Great Plan.
I think he was the one who like received the message for help, and then he passed that on to someone who's closer by or something like that.
Then it's the Astral Templars.
But so basically he sent help to the Astral Templars, who show up during the siege later. But that's important because like the siege happens and shit was getting super fucking whack, and the Astral Templars were like, lightning bolt, go, whoosh, and then there were just more fucking stormcats walking around, which was needed at the time.
Yeah.
But Gunner Runners do that shit, and then this is when Dexessa and Sinessa's plan comes to fruition, because the Gunner Runners go to the cult's headquarters that was hidden, no one knew where it was, to basically finish the ritual that to summon them into reality. And basically they go to where the mirrors are.
They were already in reality. The issue is that they were in
they needed to be summoned to that realm.
Yeah, they were in a different realm. They weren't in
Gur. They were in
the realm of shadows.
Ulgu.
Yeah, they
were in Ulgu, and they were like watching this through the mirrors, and they were like, "Hey, we would like to show up." And so they specifically hired the Eshin to go complete the ritual.
And that was the Eshin's orders that the Scryer didn't know about. So Eshin goes in, they break the rest of the mirrors, not shattering them, just cracking them, taking the blood of the elves, and smear got all of the mirrors and whatnot. And after they do all of that, it summons the twins into reality. And then up until the siege actually happens, they just stay in the headquarters, and they 100% turn into a den of Slaashi demons. They spend that entire time just fucking flesh walls and shit, and meat hooks, all kinds of crazy mecha BDSM shit.
If you've ever seen a movie
I liked
out from the Hellraiser franchise, you know exactly what we're talking about.
That just more pink.
I really like to imagine that they just go to all the blacksmiths and go like, please hooks now.
Yeah. They're like in human form. They're like, you got any meat hooks for sale? Just thinking about it.
I would like to take your entire stock.
Hey, we got some meat hooks. I'll take your entire stock. And that's what they're doing up until the siege, when they actually go and do head ass shit.
Man,
I think now we're actually at the siege. I think.
okay,
I think so.
Finally,
real quick.
So it's really important, because when you think about it, the siege itself actually doesn't last that long, because shit just gets so fucked up so quickly. But there's so many things that happen before the siege takes place that leads the siege being so just big and cataclysmic.
So real quick tangent. I would love to see a kit bash that's just a keeper of secrets, but turned into a Cenobite from Hellraiser. Or like,
It wouldn't be that hard.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it.
I am shit at kit bashing. I would 100% commission someone to do that.
I could probably do that. I actually really enjoy kit bashing.
But no. Anyway, moving on.
Competition coming up.
I can't be a part of that one.
I'm just giving ideas to
Oh
people.
yeah, but yeah, kit bash competition in the Discord. Build cool things. It's super neat. But yeah.
Also, I'm not saying you're going to automatically win if you get like a Cenobite kit bash, but also like, that'd be pretty cool.
Phil would enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then the siege actually starts, and orcs.
This is when it gets really wild.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is when shit gets fucking crazy. Mitchell,
Please no.
Please no.
Please no.
Please no.
Yeah.
Okay. So the orcs kind of attack everywhere, like all at once.
Well,
The big main goal was taking down like the main gate that goes into like the heart of the city, which had been enchanted a bunch of times. And little did they know that Lord Croak had actually also enchanted it without anyone knowing about it, because at this point Lord Croak is like, Excelsis can't fall. So orcs start doing orc things. How they start the attack off
I
is
think you're missing a really important thing.
they ramshackle some boats together and attack the harbor. What is it?
The White Reaper was trying to get the orcs to attack faster rather than later because they knew they couldn't hold out a siege.
The Punji sticks?
The Punji
The
sticks.
Punji sticks! Oh yeah, I made a joke.
No, that's actually what's written.
Punji sticks. Yeah.
Yes.
No, the joke is even in like fantasy like worlds and whatnot, Punji sticks are still a thing, and it just makes me chuckle.
Yeah.
But yeah, Punji sticks are a thing, and it was fucking hilarious. But so the orcs start the attack off in the city by ramshackling some boats together to attack the harbor because the elves fucked off and it was basically defenseless.
By the
And
way,
also,
this entire scheme was done by Skarsnik.
no,
No.
not Skarsnik's. Give me a second. Let me look through my notes and find the name because now it's starting to bug me.
Also, at this point, his name actually does become relevant.
Well, yeah, because like it's his big brain plays that cause a lot of the shit to happen.
Scrackles? Something like that.
Okay, real quick. Do y'all remember Orchimedes
Orchimedes?
from OG Warhammer lore? Oh. 40k lore?
Yes.
The original orc tactician behind the first War of Armageddon.
I thought Orchimedes was the guy who's like...
Scragrot.
Yeah. I thought Orchimedes was the guy that was just like, I'm here to help the Imperium. And I'm going to disappear for 500 years.
No, Orchimedes was a orc tactician. He's like the only actually recognized orc tactician from 40k, and his whole thing was that he was literally just Sun Tzu. Like all of his quotes were literally just Sun Tzu's The Art of War,
But orcified.
but orcified.
Oh, nice.
And his name was Orchimedes. He's one of my favorite characters from like OG orc lore. That like just after about like 4th edition, you just never hear about him again because at that point they were like, oh man, maybe we want to like actually write lore that makes sense that isn't just like shit posting.
I miss those days.
Dude, okay, and like the orcs are the perfect group to shit post with.
They really are.
Like they're just perfect for it. Like Orchimedes.
Because like no matter how stupid it is, like it's smart for an orc.
Yes.
Exactly.
Like all of our dumb shit as humies is really cool for orcs. So like yeah, it makes sense.
By the way,
Yeah, no.
we should probably explain that
But
Marathi and...
It's Scragrot. That's his name.
Yeah, Scragrot.
Yeah.
Marathi and... Why do I forget the big old toad's name?
Lord Croak.
Lord Croaks. Is they are in the city now, and nobody liked Marathi's presence.
I thought Marathi didn't show up until later.
At some point, Marathi gets there.
Yeah. And Lord Croak's actually, I didn't talk about this quite yet, but Lord Croak's actually already at the city when the siege starts. He's just like, no one knows he's there. He's concealing himself.
Yeah.
Because he knows that Kragnos is there, and he's like not fucking okay about it.
I put you in that mountain once, I'll put you back.
Put that thing back where it came from, or help me. But he's also very much like, if Excelsis has to fall to redirect Kragnos away from Azir, then that's an acceptable loss. But he's there because he's trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the orcs ramshackle some ships together, and they float onto the harbor. A lot of them get eaten by like sea monsters and shit because God forbid Gur stops at the big beast. He's only on land. They're in the water too. And but the ships get there, and it's just like, hey, do you want greenskins? Because like greenskins. Da, 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 and it just gets fucking whack immediately because like humans have fucking like cannons and sniper nests and fucking hellstorm rocket steam tanks are there, like they're ready to fucking throw down, and the orcs are like, yeah, but like 90 bajillion gargants with like gigantic like trees for shields.
The Kraken Eaters coming out of the harbor.
Well, no, that didn't happen quite yet. Initially, it was just like a fuckload of regular ass gargants, not even megas, just a bunch of normal gargants. They had a bunch of shields and shit, and they were just like, don't let cannon hurt us. And like, yeah, because they were just fucking everywhere. The Kraken Eaters came a little later, and then shit got super whack.
The first wave that actually attacked the wall that wasn't from the sea were just trolls, and they chose Scragrot actually chose trolls specifically because they wouldn't really get damaged.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And to quote the book, stupidity was their armor.
Stupidity was their shield.
Doth thou quoth the raven?
And so the whole point of this is they start this attack and they have this big I forget if this is what happens at the harbor or if this happens at one of the other sides of the city. I think it was the harbor, but I might be wrong. But they had this skull of a god beast that they had fashioned into.
Oh no, this is on the other side of the city.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they're at the harbor and they're fucking shit up, and I think it's meant to like divert forces away because what they're trying to do is trying to take this battering ram made out of the skull of a god beast. It's like infused with WHAAG magic, empowering the fucking gargants holding them, where like they don't take damage.
Yeah,
to go break down the gate.
Yeah, one really important thing to note is that the orc shaman who is planning all this had a vision. I think it was the shaman. It might have been Kragnos. I think it was the shaman.
Yeah.
The shaman had a vision of this WHAAG coming to Excelsis, and they were armed with 3 great relics. One of which was the skull of a god beast whose horns could break mountains, and so they fashioned it into a battering ram in true orc fashion.
The other one was a thing that the Fire Slayers had. They couldn't get their hands on it because the Fire Slayers were like, "Fuck you," and like we'll break our shit so you can't have our shit.
Exactly.
And I forget what the third one was.
Anyway,
Was it Kragnos?
No, we're just gonna continue.
So point being is like, so the harbor is like on fire right now. That's happening. There's gargants
Again,
everywhere.
it's on
Shit's getting
fire
super
again.
fucking wacko. And Godrak is actually at the harbor too, because he's flying on.
He plays dead, doesn't he?
He doesn't play dead. He gets knocked the fuck out. Because he's on, what's his fucking Maw Crusher's name? Big Teeth. Yeah, Big Teeth. He's on Big Teeth. He's flying around, like, taking down gyrocopters and shit. And then, like, he lands on a really spicy gyrocopter and starts, like, hacking at it with his fucking axe. And then it crashes. And it blows him into the fucking ramparts, like, at the harbor. And he just, like, passes the fuck out for a second. And he wakes up and he's like, time to murder. But while this is happening, they're trying...
Major concussions never matter.
Orcs don't have concussions. They just have super orky headaches, and then it goes away.
Speaking of which, I gave myself a concussion last week.
We're not going to talk about that.
I almost gave mine while I was playing
Philip isn't
hockey.
dead. Philip isn't dead. That's what's important.
I slammed into a wall, then I slammed my head into the ice.
Stop playing hockey then.
Nah,
I slammed my head into a skid
Then
steer.
enjoy the concussions.
No.
Yes. Statistically speaking, my guy, like, you're not doing much better than football.
Oh no, I'm doing way
I
worse.
would say you're doing worse in football because, like, running on feet hurt. When you're propelled by skating on ice, the speed I see some of those fuckers getting to, it's like prepare to be fucking trucked hard.
prepare to enter the 9th dimension.
Yep.
But so on the other side of the city, I think it was the west side of the city. Once again, might be incorrect. But they have this battering ram, and they're gonna go break down this fucking gate. And they get to the gate because basically, like, these gargants are getting pelted by cannons and Hellstorm rocket batteries and things like that.
But
and
Croak knew that
they're
it's just...
being infused by like the magic, not only the WHAAG, like the WHAAG magic, but also like the magic of the battering ram. And they're like, cannonball to the face. Okay, cool. Anyway, so they get to the gate. Once again, no one knew Croak had enchanted it, like Mitchell was saying. No one knew he'd done it. So they hit the gate with that battering ram a whole whopping one time. Skull of a god beast. Incredibly powerful magical artifact. Super fucking break mountains, right? So magically potent it's empowering everyone around it to not take damage. Hits the gate once and fucking explodes. Croak's enchantment was just like, be gone.
Oh, it was beautiful. Also, I don't think it really even damaged the wall. The explosion,
it didn't.
It just went all back.
I think it was Kragnos who had to take the wall down.
Yes, because Kragnos went up, just hit it with his mace, and just... You know how you just kind of always had a stick, and you just, like, the old white picket, just drag a stick along the white picket fence while you're walking?
Yes. Make the noise.
That's what Kragnos did for the entire wall.
I never did that because, like...
You've seen it in movies. Get over it.
I was I was the guy with the white picket fence, and, like, if I did that shit, my dad would beat my ass.
But no, yeah, Kragnos was running around like playing footsies with the walls and touching it with his big magic stick and blowing shit up, basically.
Yeah, and this only shows how more ridiculous it is because I believe it was a half-mile wall, a hole in the wall now, for the entire wall to go through. But then the problem was him doing that. He revealed all the Skaven that were hiding underneath the wall.
Yeah, because as it turned out, some of the Skaven had survived. and they'd made an underhive under the walls, and that's where they were hiding.
No, this was the Skaven beforehand.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, there was an underhive under the walls.
Like I said, shit gets whack. Really, really whack.
Or Undercity, sorry, not Underhive.
But yeah, so the battering ram gets broken, but it doesn't matter because after Kragnos gets done like lightly playing with the walls and blowing them the fuck up, like Philip for a visual, like if this is Kragnos, this is a stick. He just like just blowing the fucking walls up.
Yeah.
He knocks down the gate. They rush in. Shit is getting even more fucking whack now, and like it's very clear that like they can't really hold the tide back, and like yeah, it's bad. And then more Stormcast show up with the
Astral Templars.
Astral Templars, thank you. Then the Astral
by
Templars
far
show up.
my
It's
favorite,
okay, Ashen One.
my favorite storm host, because they have character. Like honest to God,
They're just angsty teens.
no, they're not. They are like.
No,
they're-
wait, which is the
they're
one
like
that-
Billy Bob. That's just like 40 years old. That's just like having a good time.
Wait,
in the range.
which war host is it that like literally they're just like edgy teens, like edgy emo kids?
The Knights Excelsis.
No, it's the one that like their I remember their coloration is like their blood red.
Okay, so that depiction of an Astral Templar is absolutely wrong.
Okay, so it is them I'm thinking of.
Yes, it's
no.
absolutely wrong.
Mitchell, it's all the Astral Templars. Philip, they look at this right. Also, Mitchell, shut up. It's not right.
So no, it's really funny because in the Stormcast Eternal not Codex, Battle Tome, in their Battle Tome, the picture and like brief description of an Astral Templar makes them sound like the edgiest teens around, and it's really funny because that's also not how they're really depicted in the lore.
They are just like, good old family, let's go kill this Gargant the best we can.
Oh yeah, look, it's funny because no, that's actually right. Because when the Kraken Eaters show up later, the Knights Excelsis are just like, more things to kill. The Ash Numbers are like, fuck yeah, big things to kill. Like freaking the fuck because they're like, we get to kill big things now.
Yeah, so they love it. They go on hunts, by the way.
It's actually pretty orky of them when you think about it.
Oh, because a lot of the Astral Templars come from Gur.
There you go.
Yeah, so they're like, this is our realm.
They're like, yeah, I get to bring a big skull home now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're one of the few Stormcasts that like actually like when they defeat large enemies, they actually collect trophies.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so now I will always see Astral Templars as just good old boys that they go off and hunting bears and shit
but
for the fucks of it.
The depiction that they had in the Battle Tome, you look at them and go like, that's just Ravengard.
Actually, no, it's even worse than that.
It's like, oh look, edgelords.
No,
Almost
they
like a
look
vampire.
No, they look like fuck.
Conrad Curse.
No, don't say it. The successor chapter to the Blood Angels, the ones with the chainsaw blade with the blood drop in it.
The flesh terrors?
Yes,
Yeah.
they look like flesh terrors.
Okay.
But like
They're my favorite storm hosts. They are really fun to listen to in books.
I mean, like, it's hard to like someone who's like, oh no, these big monsters arrive, and it's just Hulk from Ragnarok, big monster, and it's like, no, and he's just like, oh, dick first.
I think there's one that there's a short story of one guy, this bear something, and everybody just goes, that guy's just a Chad.
Oh my fucking god! Speaking of bears, Mitchell enlightened me to something last night when we were playing Total War. I didn't know Japan had bears.
no, that was me.
That was you? Was it
That
you?
was me, and that was 2 nights ago,
Was it 2 nights ago?
I think.
Yeah, I didn't tell you about that.
Yeah, it was. You could have sworn. Yeah.
Also, last night was the first time I played Total War with you
In a while.
over a year.
in a while. But no, yeah, I just didn't know Japan had bears. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
No one ever told me they didn't. I just like didn't think that an island besides like Antarctica would have bears. And I was like, yeah, there's bears, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Well, I'd also like to inform you at this point that Antarctica doesn't have bears.
Is the Arctic that has
It's
polar
the
bears?
Arctic,
Arctic,
yeah.
gotcha.
Antarctica has
Which one doesn't
penguins.
have? Yeah, Antarctica has penguins. The Arctic has polar bears. That's how it is. I always flip them. Flip them.
But no,
I can go on a really funny.
The Arctic has Santa Claus too.
Okay, I can also go on a really funny story about how the Cabots that live in Bryan, they were like one of the most influential families inside of Bryan. They had 2 pet bears.
When?
I'm sorry, what?
Wait, hold on. When was this?
So, early 1900s.
Okay, so this isn't like right now. 'Cause
Wait,
I'm
no.
like, cool. We're
Is
gonna
this
go.
Is this the mafia family?
No.
For
okay.
a second, I was
No.
like, Mitchell, if that's right now, we're leaving this podcast to go see some fucking pet bears right now. I will break an enter in that
but
fucking house. and
there
I'm
is a
okay with being
bear-
Are you
eaten.
fucking kidding
I'm
me?
okay with
I would
being
never
eaten.
break an enter into a house that I knew there was fucking bears
Dude,
living in.
I'm
Same.
willing to die.
But there is a bear buried in Bryan, Texas. Oh my
God.
That's amazing.
And since that bear died, they're like, well, we can't have this other bear because bears like to have other bears around, I guess.
Oh my god! So bears are like ducks. They only have you
they
can't have
got-
one duck. You have to have two ducks.
they
There's like a
sold-
depression.
They sold the bear to a family in a different state, and the bear was in a crate at the railroad yard, and it broke out of its crate
Oh shit.
in the middle of the night.
What kind of bear was it?
So, I maybe just a black bear.
Oh, I mean, in my head canon, it's a fucking like 3-ton grizzly.
Yeah. So Mrs. Cavett actually just like in her silk robe had to come down from her house, which is like about a half-mile away,
Go find the bear.
to go like, because the bear wouldn't move. She just go like, get in the goddamn crate.
Just get in the fucking crate.
And the
Sorry,
bear,
mom.
and the bear just went into the crate.
Dude, okay, like I get it, like having if someone has pet bears, you don't want to fuck with them because bears will fucking murder you. But like, I understand, don't fuck with bears, but also like if friend shaped, why not friend? So yeah, domesticated bears. It's like if I get to pet it, like I'm willing to take the risk because they look so cuddly and friendly, but they'll rip your guts out and eat you living. So like I don't know.
Okay.
Well, that's like so I used to go hunting with my grandfather, and we went out to West Texas to a ranch where the guy had like fucking 10,000 acres.
Jesus
And
Christ.
it's West Texas.
I mean, yeah, but
There's nothing
Jesus
out there.
Christ.
Yeah, there's nothing else out there.
it's probably $5 an acre.
Yeah.
10,000 acres. How much it worth? About like 3.3 cents an acre.
Yeah, but no. So and then this guy had a nice house built on like a 1 acre lot that he had fenced in with exotic animal fencing.
Okay.
He had a pet bobcat.
Oh.
Nobody was allowed inside of the house because that bobcat was super territorial.
Fucking kill you.
Nobody told the robbers who came to rob his house one night.
Oh.
so this guy had security cameras because he literally
no.
lives on like 10,000 acres with no one else around
no.
there. So he had security cameras, and these two guys broke into his house, get about 3 feet into the door, and they look up at the mantle where the bobcat liked to sit, and the bobcat's just staring at them, and they're like, oh, it's a hunter's
It's
cat.
stuffed.
Like, it's stuffed. So they start robbing the living room, and then the bobcat just stands up and goes, oh, and then they all turn look at the bobcat and fucking haul ass out of there.
Start hearing
And the
that.
bobcat's just like, nah, it's not worth it. And it just sits back down.
For me, there's a couple sounds that are very polarized. And like it's the of a shotgun, and then the of a fucking bobcat. Then it's like, I'm gonna meet God now, and like there's almost nothing I can do about it.
Speaking of which, earlier today I saw a video of a guy with his emotional support bobcat. He was walking it in public on a leash.
I mean, I would like to be surprised, but also like I was recently on a kick of people in like Dubai who have dumbass animals, and there's one dude with a fucking tiger just chilling in his Lambo, and I was like, what the fuck?
Hey guys,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it.
Uh-huh.
This is an Age of Sigmar podcast.
Yes. Okay, one more though, just one more, and then I'll stop.
To be fair, we're talking about the land of big freaky creatures, and we're talking about wacky pets. So like,
Okay,
it's kind of appropriate.
it's understandable.
I forget the name, but it was these two dudes who raised a lion. I think it was a male lion from infancy, and they had it for like fucking ever. And then finally, like this, I think they were in like New York or something like that. And the city was finally like, get that fucking thing out of here. And because like it was starting to get kind of aggressive, not towards them, but to like people in general, because like it's a fucking
lion.
male lion. So they finally had to like kick the lion out, and they go to like the sanctuary. And then after like 5 years, they finally like get to go visit the lion again, and they open the fence and they see the lion. They're like, yeah, I think that's our lion. And they sit there, and the lion gets real close to them. I start coming up, and it looks like it doesn't remember who like it is. And the guy's like, I might be about to die. And the lion gets like 3 feet from him, and then just like hug and like hop on and starts hugging the shadow. And I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. And it just starts like aggressively licking them to death. Lion was like, "Is my dad? Is my dad?" And it
That's
was
exactly
like,
what
the most
Hephaestus
adorable shit
does,
ever.
and I'm gonna cry now. Because Hephaestus will just hug your hand and just
Speaking
go
of
like,
the boy.
let me lick.
He'll do the thing, right? Where he like
Yeah.
crosses his paws.
Hey, look, it's the boy.
It's the boy himself.
Bro, I was petting the boy. Why you gotta pick him up?
Because I wanted to hold the boy.
I'm like, fuck you.
Okay, we got things to cover.
This is an Age of Sigmar podcast.
Yes, this is an Age of Sigmar podcast.
This is not
Rats.
petting your cat
Rats
podcast.
underneath the wall. Moving forward in chapter, Slaanesh.
Well, so hang on, real quick before that happens. So the orcs start to like charge the walls, and then they're just like, "Oh look, rats, die!" And like it barely even slows the orcs down.
Yeah, it barely
Because
does.
they look at the rats and they go, "Pathetic," and they just start massacring rats.
Okay. Gotta be honest, I don't remember entirely too much about what happened after that with Slaanesh. Would you?
No, yeah, they broke into like the big the big palace. That was where the I forget her name, but it was like the chick who was like controlling the battle, like directing it and whatnot with her honor guard. And they were in the I think it was like the big main like palace building thing. It was called Crystal Fall. Crystal.
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah. I think it's
something.
called Crystal Fall.
Yeah,
So
Crystal
basically, Dexessa and Sinessa and all this and the Slaaneshi gang just break into that bitch and fuck it up, and they cast magic and they start like controlling all the people in there to do weird Slaaneshi things to like make them dance and murder each other because that's what Slaanesh does for kicks. On their way to it, they're murdering a bunch of fucking people and they're taking control of more people to add to their host and a bunch of horrible fucking things. And then they get to the actual city and like murder everyone. Like that's basically it. And I forget who walks in on them. No, it was the Van Dance. That's what it was. Yeah. So once
the Van Dance come back.
There. No, they get there. They take over the palace, and then the Van Dance and the White Reaper show up.
That's DENTS.
The Van Dance.
STS? What the hell?
Yeah, DENSTS.
Oh no, it's some copyrighted name.
The Van Dance and the White Reaper, they go to the place. I think they were trying to talk to the chick, the counselor, the fuck her name is, to like figure out what's going on with the battle. And they get there and they're like, "What the fuck are there Slaaneshi demons here?"
So you have orcs, gobos, trolls,
Gargants,
Stormcast,
dragons,
Skaven,
Slaaneshi
Slaanesh.
demons, witch hunters,
yeah.
ogres.
Ogres.
Oh yeah, small plot line. Scragrot, the dude, had hired ogres to like go. He had hired ogres to go get hired by Excelsis to pretend to be mercenaries, just to like backstab them when the WHAAG got there. That was the thing that happened.
Scragrot, big brain.
He's smart, big brain orc.
Yeah.
He wanted what Scragrot wanted to be the brains of the orc WHAAG that took control of Gur. That was what he wanted to do.
Just keep in mind the name of Orchimedes. I will explain something after this because there's something really important that happens after the Siege of Excelsis.
But yeah, so the Van Dance and the White Reaper, they show up there and they're like, well, this is fucking unacceptable. And I think they like shoot Sinessa with something or something like that to like break the spell that was over the counselor and her honor guard. And they're like, oh, fuck. So they start fighting. And, yeah, Dexessa and Sinessa get their fucking shit wrong aggressively.
Well, the White Reaper, killed which one?
Dexessa.
So,
well, first of
he
all,
was dying.
No, he died. That's what happened.
No, he was dying.
Well, yeah, he was dying because like the Skaven bullshit, but he goes and fights. So basically, like they free the honor guard and the counselor chick from the spell. They start fighting Dexessa and the demons and whatnot, and then the White Reaper goes up and he starts 1v1 in Dexessa and gets like fucking annihilated immediately. And as he's dying, he gets like his arm cut off and like stabbed in the neck and the heart. And as he's dying, he and the big thing about, I don't know if it was him specifically or if it's Lord Varitant in general, they have like the lantern of Sigmar or something like that.
Yeah, that's
Sigmar's
that's
light.
a Lord Varitant thing. It's part of their holy relic.
Yeah, he shoves it in Dexessa's like down her throat into her gullet, as the book stated, and starts screaming like the words of banishment he hasn't used since the fucking Age of Chaos, essentially. And as he's dying, he's like, "Hey, Dexessa, get the fuck off my lawn," and promptly sends her screaming back into the realm of chaos. And
Dexessa's the dude.
And then Sinessa, in my opinion, gets dunked on even harder because she's like, "I'm gonna go fuck over these two witch hunters," and then promptly gets shot in the fucking eye by the dad, by not Geralt. It's not Geralt. I know it's not that. I forget his name. The dad.
Dude, that is the wrong kind of Witcher.
I know, but what's the dad? It's up with a G.
Galen.
Gets shot in the fucking eye by Galen with a null bullet, the anti-magic bullet.
Yeah.
And then his daughter stakes her in the chest with a stake with I think it's Sigmar's like actual name inscribed. It's Sigmar, or I think it's his last name. It starts with a U. I can't quite remember.
It's Sigmar's mortal name, right?
I think I'm not sure, but I think he stakes her in the chest with a stake imbued with Sigmar's actual name. It also has some special materials in it, and they do that at the same time. And Excelsis just perishes. Like she turns into a big cloud of butterflies and just fucks off.
Yeah.
Like at least Excelsis killed Lord Varant. Sinessa just got dunked on aggressively by the vampire duo, and they were just like, beer? And they were like, beer, and that was basically what happened.
Yeah. I think in totality in this siege, it was stated in hollowed ground, 25% of the population died.
And I think Excelsis had a population of about 1 million.
So
250,000.
250,000 people died.
And that's not even talking about
Jesus
that's not even
Christ.
talking about how many orcs died.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. The orc body count was insane.
Which Excelsis, it stands clearly. A lot of people actually really truly thought it fell.
I can't blame them.
Like,
Probably because communication wasn't the easiest thing when there's all that bullshit going on. When it's like, yeah, demons, dragons, and orcs, oh my.
and I believe that's like truly kind of the end of the siege.
Not quite, because then this is when Marathi shows
Wow,
up.
how could I completely forget
Yeah,
the
right?
entire
the
person?
snake lady show up. Yeah, so Marathi.
No, how can I forget Kragnos?
Marathi shows up with her fleet of witch elves and shit, and then Gadrak goes in there. I think Gadrak shows up with big teeth and tries to like, no, it wasn't Gadrak. It was it was a Kraken Eater Mega Gargant, I think, who like attacked Marathi's ship. And this is like right after Marathi ascended to godhood. So she hops down in her god form and she's like, I'm gonna touch your neck with my shadow magic, and promptly rips its fucking head off. And so she's here and she's like, I'm here to fuck shit up. And then she immediately starts 1v1ing Kragnos.
Oh my god.
And then Croak shows up. And so there's witch elves, there's elves, and humans, and stormcast, and demons, and orcs, and shit's fucked. And then there's just 3 literal gods fighting.
Yeah, a really big point was, after this point, the orcs got into the city. But the witch elves, being the masters of murder that they are, the orcs had lost a lot of momentum because they had to
split up. They
had to get through the Skaven.
Well, no, they had to split up into smaller groups, and it lessened like the WHAAG energy.
Yeah.
And then you have to think about, it's like, cool, we have Stormcast and human shit in the front, and we have witch elves in the back. Like, we are now the meat in this murder sandwich, and like it's not about to go well for us.
Yeah. All that was happening.
Anvil, meat, hammer.
And at what point did the entire portal? Because I feel like Age of Sigmar's get out of jail free card is
Portal.
portal.
I can't. Well, so what happened was, so Marathi is fighting Kragnos. She's like, I'm gonna use magic. And Kragnos is like, GG lols, get fucked. I'm anti-magic because of. It's supposed to be his shield. I think he's just kind of anti-magic in general. But she's fighting him, and like Marathi's powerful because she's very martially proficient and also very magical. But Kragnos is all martial prowess, no magic, and also fuck magic. So like half of her shit doesn't work. And Croak is like super magic, and Kragnos is once again, fuck you, I am anti-magic. So even with Croak and Marathi fighting him, they're not doing much. And Kragnos is like quite literally about to kill Marathi. Like he's going in for the killing blow. And then Croak's like big brain frog idea. Opens a he basically sends thoughts to Marathi, and he's like, here's the plan, shut the fuck up and listen to me. And he opens a portal to a Dreadfort somewhere. I forget what realm it was, but it was to a Dreadfort. And I'm pretty sure Dreadforts are chaos. So he opens a realm to like a random fucking Dreadfort in bumfuck nowhere. And then Marathi's like illusion magic and makes the portal look like it's a very lovely, prospering Draconith city. And then she's like, hey, Kragnos, look at that portal. And Kragnos is like, dragons! And basically he looks at Marathi and he's like, listen, your bitch, will finish this later, and fucks off into that portal to go kill dragons. Then promptly shows it in the Dreadfort, and he's like, wait a minute. And then Croak is like, shut the portal.
Yep.
And that is how the other orcs find out that Kragnos is alive, because I think some cruel boys see him, and they're like, light the beacon fires, Kragnos is here.
Well, Cruel Boys, no, because Cruel Boys should have been more done inside of this, but Cruel Boys were not released yet. And the Siege of Excelsis happened.
There were some orc shamans who saw Kragnos whenever he got ported, and they were like, ah, yes, tell the other green boys, because Big Daddy Centaur Evil Godman is here.
Yeah, I think this is kind of like one of those timeline things that gets really weird, because this happened.
Technically, according to the lore, Cruel Boys have always existed, but also
Yes.
like they didn't exist until after 3rd edition.
They
released.
didn't, and this was the very end of 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so once Kragnos got portal away, that was basically the end of it. Because between like the demons getting fucked, the witch elves showing up, more Stormcast, the initial Stormcast, the humans not bucking and running because I think the book says that like basically every man, woman, woman, and child over 10 was expected to fight, and all these humans are from Gerst. They're like,
We here for
we
it.
understand.
Yeah.
And they're like, cool,
Give
I
me
got
my
stick.
spice knife.
I'm here to fuck some orcs up. So between like the humans not bucking and running, all the Stormcast, the extra Stormcast, the demons, the witch elves, the gods, the fucking everything, the orcs were kind of like, okay, peace. Well, we out. I think Godrek had fucked off at this point because like he got injured or something like that, and they just kind of dispersed because like at that point,
Yeah, no,
there
Godric
was no
got
winning.
stabbed with a halberd because he was just laying there, and he just goes. The guy just went, I guess.
And that's when he gets up and starts fucking things up more, but now he's like actually injured. And before this even happened, Godric and Big Teeth had fought in Kragnos because basically Godric didn't know who Kragnos was, and he saw a big monster. Then Kragnos saw the orc, and he's like, "Oh, are we about to throw down? Are you walking closer to me?" And they get into this big ass
Are you
fight.
approaching me?
And like
Can't
Kragnos,
beat the shit out of you without getting closer to you.
Kragnos doesn't necessarily get hurt, but he like doesn't kill Godrak and Big Teeth super quick, and Kragnos is like, what the fuck? And like he gets a little hurt, and then Big Teeth and Godrak get decently fucked up. I think Big Teeth gets his like wing broken and his chest caved in.
Yeah.
But he doesn't die.
So
they fuck off, and this is basically like the end of the siege, because like at this point everything's on fire. The quarter of the population's dead. There's demons around. There's probably still rats in the sewer.
if you think the events of Excelsis is still done, no, it's not.
Of course not.
The Vendents still are around. So what kind of happens after the entire siege? After a period of time, there's a man named Brian Meades.
Brian Meades.
I'm not kidding. His name is Brian
You
Meades.
fucking with me right now?
No, he's the main antagonist in Hallowed Ground.
Oh my god. Okay.
Is he an orc?
No,
I'm immediately disappointed.
I know, right?
He's a necromancer.
I would love to see an orc who like painted himself tan to look like a human, and he's like, "Hello, fellow humans. Would you like to go skateboard?"
Remember that stat of like 25% of the population died, and you have all those orcs dead, and you have all these mega gargants dead. Everything's dead.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you to the world's most powerful necromancer, other than Nagash.
Oh fuck.
And his name is Brian Meades.
His name is Brian Meades, and all he wanted to do was revive his son.
But instead, he revived every single orc.
So his plan was to go and this shows like the big importance of
This is a certified bruh moment.
the importance of the Shard of Malice, or like he used the power, the magical power from the Spear of Malice to revive all of the dead.
Which is super fucked up because the Stormcast aren't there, because when Stormcast die, they get sent back to Azir. So all on the side of Order, it was like, cool, the humans are back, and it's like, oh look, all of these Gargants.
And it's the Vendents who actually stop it because
That's amazing.
Delaria, always forget how to say
Delaria or Delaria.
Delaria Vendents.
I wrote it down. Give me a second.
Pretty much
Yeah,
at the end just blew up a gigantic crystal, and just they were on top of the something. But
Doralia. Doralia.
yeah, I don't want to like spoil everything. Just let it be known that there was then another major event, literally months after this, that resurrected all of the dead people. So the people who just survived the siege of Excelsis, which 25% of the people died in that city, had to go then fight the people that they were just fighting with.
Yeah, not good. Not good for morale.
Not really great for morale. And then you'll also fight all those orcs and gargants.
So talking about necromancers, that makes me think of something. I'm currently listening to a book called Gideon the Ninth that's supposed to be necromancers in space.
Ooh,
And like
You have my attention.
it's cool and all, but like they keep calling themselves necromancers. But like literally a major plot point throughout the entire book is that none of these fucking necromancers can resurrect a goddamn human.
Okay,
Is it like
can
a
they-
fly?
Can they resurrect other things, or are they just really suck at their job?
They kind of just really suck at their job. Because so the whole premise of the book is that the reason it's called Gideon the Ninth is there are 10,000 years ago, a human necromancer transcended to godhood and then founded an empire based on necromancy. and he was the founder of the first house.
Was his
And
name
he- okay,
Nagash?
Is it like necromancer and I'm bad, or I'm a good person but I also raise the dead?
Like it's the spectrum.
Gotcha.
Like the point is the empire is founded on necromancy, so the entire empire revolves around necromancy. So like you can have good people in an empire, but
Big
like
ol'
also
death
you
cult.
can raise the dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 9 houses. The emperor founds his house, but then like he's a literal god, so like he doesn't have kids. And his 8 companions found their own houses, and Gideon is basically the bodyguard for the heir to the house of the 9th, or to the 9th household. And the premise for the book is that, or the starting event for the book is the emperor sends out a message and is like, hey, I want to raise 8 new lictors. And so like these are like basically his right hand men.
Real quick, is it fair to say this is the end of the episode lore-wise, and this is us just bullshitting now?
Actually, before we stop, me and Circe were talking about this. No, I do not have an iPhone charger.
Damn it.
Actually, I do. I think it's somewhere, but I don't know where it is.
I'm going to look for it for a little bit after the episode so I can hopefully get some charge on my phone before we go home just a little bit.
Okay.
Well, we're probably gonna leave pretty soon after that. So
I'm at 1% and I will not go on that call without some fucking music for my ears.
get wrecked.
Me and Circe were talking about this, and we really gotta stop having me and Circe drive to Brian and Bastrop alone.
Every time we do, the 40K podcast gets a little bit closer.
We're not saying we're doing it, but we would like some just name ideas.
Just technically, if we were to
if
do
we
it,
were to.
Discord,
God.
give us some names, because I dropped a couple. I'm pretty happy.
Oh,
at
the
mine.
ones that you dropped were
Okay,
legit
so-
fire.
so-
No. We're not telling anybody. We're not telling anybody the names because we're not gonna let anybody steal the names.
Okay, but I want to tell Phil though. So
Okay.
Okay, after podcast.
Yeah.
After the podcast, we would tell.
Yeah. But no, so
Drop the names.
but yeah, no, so like
yeah, hit it up with some
there's anyway, so all the scions of the houses get together, and each one brings a bodyguard with them. So there's 16 people total throughout this book, and
It's not in here.
so they're all going along, and they're supposed to be doing these challenges, and then 2 of the people get murdered, like they're just dead suddenly, and everybody's like, "What the fuck?" And so you have these. So there's 8 necromancers and 8 bodyguards. One of the necromancer bodyguard combos dies, and and so like these other 7 supposedly super talented necromancers are all standing around trying to resurrect their souls, and they literally died like less than an hour before this. So this is supposed to be like prime resurrecting
like
time,
easy as fuck.
and every single one of them fucks it up, and it's like, how the fuck are you this bad?
Are they supposed to be like Big Daddy Empire necromancer, or are they just like Billy Bob?
No, so they are supposed to be the heirs. So these aren't the leaders of their households, but these are the heirs
So
to
they
the
should-
8
they should-
most powerful households
They
in the
should
entire
be pretty good at their
imperium,
job, and they're just
or empire.
not.
Yeah. Now, granted, they all specialize in different things. So, like, Gideon the 9th serves the 9th household. The 9th household specializes in bone magic, or in bone necromancy.
Oh, Ozark Bone Reapers, gotcha.
No, literally, that's what she does.
Dick skeletons.
So the necromancer,
I got a
literally,
dick
her whole
skeleton
thing.
in there.
Yeah.
But no, her whole thing is that she carries around knuckle bones with her. And literally, she can take a singular knuckle bone and create 2 fully formed skeletons out of it.
Oh, okay, she's
That's
okay.
impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
But she carries like knuckle
She's
bones
the
and
bone
teeth.
singer.
She carries like knuckle bones and teeth and things like that in her pockets. And then she also has bone studs inside in her ear. As like,
Was those your knees?
my knees.
Oh my god, those are worse than mine. I could barely
Bruh.
bend mine all the way.
Bruh.
By the way, guys, hockey hurts.
Oh, real quick, one thing I would like to say. Our friend Charles got us the entirety of the Age of Sigmar Munchkins set, and like that game's fun as hell.
Thanks, Charles. You're awesome, man.
Yeah.
Also, like our first stream might just be us playing AOS Munchkins and getting shit faced.
Yeah, dude, AOS Munchkins it's pretty wild.
They don't have. They have armies. They don't have
Classes.
Classes. They have armies.
Nice.
And the cool thing about Munchkins is it's designed to be played with every other set of Munchkins, so we could 120%
I
get.
got Cthulhu munchkins over there somewhere.
We could 120% get Cthulhu
No,
Munchkins
man,
and play it with AOS Munchkins.
Just get 40k Munchkins. Have the entire IP.
Yes. Where is my Cthulhu munchkins?
I don't know. I didn't take it.
I don't know.
I want to make a joke about keeping track of your shit, but you got me my iPhone charger, so I'm just not gonna say anything.
I think it's downstairs. I think I know exactly where it's at.
Yeah. But no, so like that's
Next
just
to all my unmatched.
I've been
things.
watching. I've been listening to this book, and it's just like the entire time, it's like someone dies. They need to do necromancy things. The necromancers fail to resurrect a human soul. Me, bro, what the fuck are you?
Call yourself
Are
a
you
necromancer?
even a necromancer? I mean, well, speaking of shit that I've been reading that I actually really enjoy, I think I've told you about this one, but it's the dude about like the story is basically a dad who works too much, and like his wife's dead, and he kind of neglects his daughter because he's working so much. And then the beginning of the story is pretty sad. His daughter ends up dying in a car accident, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm a massive piece of shit who neglected my family, and like I should die." He probably jumped off a fucking bridge, and he's like, "Cool, if I could go back in time and redo it, I would do everything differently and be an actual like good parent." And then he travels back in time 10 years for reasons unknown. They haven't brought it back up yet. And past that, the entire point of the story is him just being a really good dad to his like 4-year-old daughter, and it's fucking heartwarming.
That's amazing.
It is fucking adorable. I think it's called like, man, what's the name?
Don't look at me.
I think it's called My Daughter's a Musical Prodigy because she also does music stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's fucking adorable. Like it is fucking adorable.
Speaking of adorable, another book series I've been listening to recently. It's called The Murderbot Diaries.
Oh God. Yeah, you've told me about this one.
So Mitchell, I think you'd like this one because it's short stories. Most of the books are short stories. They're like 4 hours on
I'm going to
Audible.
interrupt you. I'm currently reading a book,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a fiction book because it's sci-fi.
Yeah, Phil, your book isn't important, but Mitchell's book's really important.
To be fair, I already got to talk about a book series,
Yeah.
so like
It's fair.
I haven't gotten too far into it because I just really suck at finding time to read a book because I'm actually reading it, not listening to it.
yeah.
It goes over the ideas of when you have such finite resources that are about to go out, what's the better way to solve the problem, science or religion?
Oh man, that is like the entire premise behind Frostpunk.
Oh man, that
Yeah.
is super neat.
Bruh, that's really cool.
Oh, y'all want to read a really cool book? I can't remember what like the series is called, but basically the entire point of the book is it revolves around the dark force theory for space, which is basically like the theory is basically there are a finite amount of resources in the galaxy that can be, or in the universe that can be used by a civilization that is advanced enough to travel in space and actually colonize. And the main reason why we haven't seen any like aliens or any other space travelers is because basically the literal second a spacefaring civilization is discovered, a more advanced one comes along and blows it the fuck up. Because it's like we can't have any other civilizations competing for resources because eventually we will run out. Like that's how it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And the whole point of the story is like Earth gets contact through some really wacky means by this other alien race. And they find out that this race is like, cool, we're going to be there in like 100 years because that's how long it takes to get there, and we're going to fucking kill you all. And they find out that this alien race has been like manipulating humanity's like sciences and whatnot. And what we think is like the science of the universe with like physics and things like that is completely and totally wrong. And I think in the book like really like the true science of the universe is like spheres or something like that. It's like something to do with spheres.
So this
but
sounds
like they've been manipulating us forever, and the whole point of the book is like they're coming and they're gonna fucking kill all of us. And the first book, you don't even see them. The first book is just like Earth's reaction to it, and basically them strip mining the entire planet, causing this horrible.
My dad was telling me about this
Yeah.
series.
So, like the first.
Ethan also told me because I think there's a book that he listened to. It was like you got to listen to this concept.
Well, it's
it's
really-
about
Yeah, well, it's super
exactly
cool. It's
that.
because how they go about it, because you don't even see the aliens, I think, until, like, the very fucking end of the second book. The first book is just about Earth destroying itself, trying to build up a fleet to fight the aliens off, and then it causes these worldwide riots and, like, starvation, and, like, half the population dies, because it's like 30 years of absolute fucking turmoil, and then the governments that rise after that are like, cool, we're gonna do the same shit, but in a much more environmentally stable way. But the first book is just Earth is on fire. Because humans are catching it on fire. Because they're like aggressively strip mining, cutting all the fucking trees. Because they're like, Earth doesn't matter if the aliens kill us. And then through all their actions, all this horrible shit sprouts up. And then the second book, it's them like being better. But then they get into all these really weird, wacky pseudosciences. And like they start having people who are like really big brain important people. And they fucking put them in cryostasis for like X amount of years. And then bring them out when they need them. So these people who are very important don't die before we need them. And a bunch of other crazy shit. And then at one point, they start electing people. Like, these three people, they have to build an idea on how to stop the aliens. but they can't fucking tell anyone. They just have blank checks, and they can do whatever the fuck they want, because every time we do or broadcast anything, even verbally, the aliens somehow figure out what the fuck we're doing. So they have to keep it all in their fucking head, and they literally can do whatever the flying fuck they want, because it's supposed to be a way to stop the alien invasion without the aliens figuring it out. And then like they just do all this crazy shit, and then like the aliens get there, and then there's like dimensional it starts getting really, really crazy with like sciences and whatnot. But the concept's really cool, and it all revolves around, I think it's called the Dark Force theory, which is basically we don't see aliens, because when we do see aliens, either we have to kill them or they're coming to kill us.
Yeah.
And what's really funny, and this is a spoiler if any of you care, is I think if I remember correctly, how they end up like defeating the aliens in the third book is they're like, cool, you can come and kill us, but we know where you live now, and we'll fucking broadcast your homeworld's location to just the fucking galaxy, the universe at large, and we'll die, but they'll fucking find you. And they get this really weird truce to aliens that they end up breaking, but then Earth manages to trick them, I think, into like not coming to Earth but going somewhere else, but they still broadcast location, and then they watch the aliens' planet fucking explode. And all kinds of crazy shit.
What the fuck?
I forget the name of the book, the series, but it's a really cool, like, it's just a really cool thought. Like, the idea is pretty cool.
So, the Murderbot Diaries that I'm listening to right now, it's a collection of mostly short stories. There's like 6 books out, and I think the 5th one is like 12 hours long, but like all the other ones are like 4 to 5 hours. But no, so the entire premise of the series is that there is a construct. So it's part human, part machine, vat-grown organics mixed with cybernetics.
Yeah, they're just kind of clone cyborgs, kind of.
Yeah, so they're not human at all. They think of themselves 120% as constructs. They do not think of themselves as humans. And when they're constructed, they are given a governor chip, and that wires into the electron or the robotic part of their body, and it's basically like, hey, you were constructed by a company. You must now obey the company. If you do not obey the company, the governor chip will kill you. And things like that. So they have no free will. And the reason Murderbot is called Murderbot is because he was a security bot. And his entire role was to guard a mining outpost. And he did. Until his governor chip malfunctioned and he murdered 57 people that he was supposed to be guarding. And so then, because, security bots are expensive, he gets refurbished and a new governor chip implanted into him and sent back out into the field. Except that when they installed the new governor chip, they also installed the entire operating system, like, into his memory banks. And so he was like, cool, well, I don't want to murder my fucking people I'm supposed to look after again, so I'm going to hack my own governor chip so it has no control over me. So this dude is completely sentient, but also still obeys the rules of the company it works for.
My favorite part of the story is he still does his job. He just does it really shittily.
Yeah, his entire thing is he's like, look, I'm still going to do my job because I don't want to die, but also, like, all I want to do in life is sit around and watch TV shows.
No, but I think it's
like
more
a real human.
No, it's like telenovelas, though.
Yeah, no, he like in the book they refer to them as like serials, but yeah, it's basically telenovelas.
Nice.
Or what's Days of Our Lives, like that
Gilmore
show.
Girls.
Yeah, or no, like Days of Our Lives. That's like super like day soaps. There we go, day soaps. That's basically what he likes watching is like sci-fi day soaps.
Oh my god.
But like,
Are they like the really bad Mexican soap operas?
Yeah, telenovelas.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Days of Our
Super
Lives.
dramatic.
So, when I would get grounded as a child, my mom would be like, no TV unless it's in Spanish. So growing up, and y'all know my parents are like, were very strict. Like, the smallest white lie, grounded for a week.
Yeah. Well,
So
when they were there.
They only left when I was in junior year of high school and beyond.
Yeah, dude, you spent the entire junior year of high school basically with the house to yourself and your brother because your parents were gone like 80% of the time.
Yeah. So I would really watch really bad Mexican soap operas when I was grounded for a week.
But yeah, so like one of his favorite shows is basically a soap. Is basically what it is. But eventually the group that he's working for, they get like somebody's trying to murder them, and he ends up having to go out on his own and do his own thing, and they're all like, wait a minute.
What the fuck is this?
He's not obeying us. Like what he does saves their lives, but he gets, oh no, that's what it is. He get his operating system gets corrupted, and he's about to like go insane and start murdering people, so he kills himself. And then they bring him back because he shoots himself in the chest and disables a bunch of his components, but his processor and memory banks are still there. So they're just like, oh, cool, we just repair him and bring him back online. And while doing that, to make sure that the code that was corrupting him is out of the system, they realize his governor chip is not functional. And they're like, oh, fuck.
You know, that's my favorite
he
thing.
could kill us, because in television, when a security bot goes rogue, it starts murdering people. So that is the image of a rogue sec bot to everybody else. But Murderbot has been free of his governor chip by this point for 32,000 hours. I did the math. That's over 3 years.
What I find really funny about this is when they find out about the chip, what Phil was telling me. It's not that, oh no, his chip doesn't work. It's, oh no, his chip hasn't worked for a while, and he's been sentient the whole last time, and we just didn't know.
Yeah, he's been sentient and sapient and in control of himself for 3.5 years. And they've known him for 2 months, and they're like, some people start freaking out, and they're like, "Oh my god, he's gonna kill us!" And then the leader of the human leader of the operation is like, "No. He's been able to do whatever the fuck he wants for longer than we've known him.
He's been doing his job,
been doing his job the entire time." At which point he's like, "Well, I've kind of been doing my job the entire time," but no. At one point, they're talking about him, and they start theorizing like, oh my god, what could he do? He could kill us and things like that. And at this point he wakes up, because he's just been listening to them this entire time. He wakes up and he goes, if I wanted to kill you, I would have done it by now. This shit situation that we're in, I don't want it. Like, this sucks. I don't want y'all to die, and like, I don't care. At which point the programmer who like cleared his system was like, oh, well, like I've forced you to shut down, and like you can't move, and I'm in control of your system. At which point the Secubot stands up, chunks him against the wall on principle, and is like, the fuck were you saying about controlling me? And everybody's like, oh, we have no control over him. And he's like, yeah, but also I have done literally nothing to y'all, and I'm trying to keep you alive, and I'm the only one who can keep you alive. So like, are we good? And they're
promptly
like, okay,
fuck
yeah.
off.
Because the other big thing about a security bot is that they're part of their programming is that they are extremely good at
Killing.
Not only killing, but also data analysis and security security infiltration.
Got it. By the way, it's like 11:35.
Yeah, we should probably
We
go
should
ahead.
stop.
Before we stop, question for Mitchell, because we were going over this in the car. Mitchell, what do you think about the 10th edition stuff we've been seeing that I was talking to you about?
Spicy.
Spicy? You think it's gonna be good?
I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say good night to everyone.
Yep.
And it was good talking to y'all again. We
Peace
will
out,
see
homies.
you in the futures.
Goodbye.
Peace out.